Hello and welcome to the Full Potential Living podcast. In this podcast, our intention is to empower you to elevate your own life to its fullest potential, to dive a little bit deeper into finding what type of life you really want to create for yourself, others, and the world, to become the very best version of who you are in all important areas. It's not about becoming something that you're not. Rather, it is an uncovering process of the greatness that already lies within you. We want to help you find purpose, meaning, a direction for your future, and tap into your highest joy. We all have it within us. We all have a unique full potential life experience, whatever that looks like to you. We are creating a community of like-minded people who are self-actualizing and stepping into their full potential life together as one, upgrading the consciousness of the planet. Do not settle, full potential or nothing. Today, we have a very special couple joining us from their extraordinary life and home in Hawaii, Jon and Missy Butcher. Jon and Missy have created a life unlike any other, starting 19 companies with an incredibly balanced life in 12 areas of extraordinary living. They're self-actualizers in their own right, passionate, adventurous rebels living their version of the Garden of Eden. Not only that, but they have a passion for helping others self-actualize, access extraordinary living through their company, Lifebook Online, and aim to make the world a better place with everything that they do. Jon and Missy, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. It's an honor to have you guys on.
So good to be here with you, my friend.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, it's been an awesome journey over the last couple of years, jumping into Lifebook and kind of running through the program, getting to know the community. It's like I've gone, from doing the program to mastery to just kept going. And now I'm a Lifebook leader, a Lifebook champion, and it just really resonates with me. And you guys are freaking awesome.
And so are you. We're so proud of you, Eric. Yeah. That's exactly how it should work. Constant forward motion.
Dude, I mean, it's just like, I'm that same way where it's like, okay, this is what I want. Okay, boom, let's go. Like,
that's right.
Let's go for this. So it just resonated with me. So yeah, what's going on in your guys' life today?
Oh my goodness.
Well, we're getting ready for the Talon trip. So we're getting ready to leave for Europe at the end of the week. And
we're building here, so it's pretty crazy here, but we're going to leave it in good hands and go to Talon for about 10 days and then we'll be back.
This year is a real transition for us. This year is the transition from our last chapter to our new chapter. Crystal clear life vision. We've been working on it for 5 years. We're stepping into it every month. And when we get back from Mind Valley University in Talon, we'll really be where we've wanted to be for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's a great year for us. It's a great moment.
Beautiful. I feel like I've seen you guys stepping in and building this home in Hawaii. Like we've all,
in real time. You've been watching it in real time.
In real time, brother. Yeah. So I've definitely seen that. So awesome. Well, today our topic is self-actualization.
Nice.
I know obviously it's a big topic, and I don't know if we could choose a better couple to talk about self-actualization today. So you guys have had this kind of evolutionary journey over the last 20 to 30 years of creating this 12 category smart life and really stepping into it over and over. And it's just amazing. So I think self-actualization for me also is something that, living my best version, the full potential living is what I'm all about. So first of all, what would be your personal definition of self-actualization, guys?
We talked about that this morning, and I think, Eric, it's pretty simple. It comes down to maximizing your potential, right? It comes down to brushing up against your true potential in the important areas of life. But one thing I want to say about self-actualization is it could take a million different forms for everybody. There's no higher self out there that exists in a vacuum separate from you that you're moving toward. You could actualize yourself in many different areas of human endeavor. you could take in so many different directions. So it's not like there's this specific thing that you've either got to reach or you fail. It's a creative process. It's as much about creating yourself as it is about finding yourself. I would say that finding yourself is the more passive the more passive aspect of it, which is incredibly important. Discovering more and more about who you are deep down, the authentic you. But then there's the creating yourself side. There's the, oh, I think I would like to be this way. I think I would like to excel in this area. And then moving in that direction with intention. Life is about finding yourself. And that's a process of introspection. That's the process of getting a clearer and clearer picture of your wants, needs, desires, talents, preferences, who you really are deep down. It's a process of self-discovery. But then life is also equally, for people who are really after self-actualization, about creating yourself, about forging yourself in the image of your own values, and forging the environment around you in the image of your own values. So it's about going in, and it's about pushing out. It's about allowing, and it's about intention at the same time.
Love that.
I feel like it's uncovering who you are really inside so that you can express that out, you know, because to me, it's like self-expression. To be actualized is to really express who you really are, bring your gifts out and share them with others.
I love that. You know, part of what I love those two ideas, and part of what I say in the intro and like what I say in Full Potential Living is like, it's like an uncovering process. I think, you know, especially over the last couple of years for me, it's been an uncovering process of like, and I think going through the whole Lifebook system, we can't not talk about Lifebook today. It's just,
well, Lifebook is the ultimate self-actualization tool. It's the best tool out there to give you a structure for self-actualizing. It's an ascension tool.
Right. And it's been an uncovering process for me I love that word, because I had, you know, there's been times in my life where I've been trying to do things for reasons outside of like my true nature, my true self. I did play baseball and played college and a little bit of professional, but there was always just something that was just slightly off about it. Like it wasn't totally me. It's like I was kind of doing it for like other reasons. And I still loved it. Like obviously I was good at it. I loved it, but there's just something that was a little off. And then I went through this whole journey of traveling and discovering myself. And then, you know, I came back years later and then I jumped into Lifebook, and then it's been this whole process of uncovering really for me. So I get that. And then, but you can't just sit there and just kind of be like, oh, this is who I am. No, do something about it. You know,
that's right. Once you uncover once you uncover who you truly are and get a little clearer sense of yourself, now it's time to do something with that, right?
It's almost like you get activated because you find yourself, you're like, oh, I need to do something with this tool that I discovered.
Yeah, where are you going to point that? Where are you going to point those talents, those desires, all that energy? And that's the creating yourself aspect.
Right. That's a cool way to put it. Important way to step into it and create it. What do you believe is the biggest roadblock to becoming your best self or self-actualizing in modern day society?
There's so many. There are so many.
I think the fundamental principle is this. This is what I would say. I would say that the biggest roadblock to blossoming into who you really could become is lack of clarity on what that might look like. Lack of examples of what that might look like, a lack of vision of what your ideal self and your ideal life would look like. And the only way you can get that, the only way you can really create a vision of your ideal self and your ideal future is to get off the treadmill of your life for a little bit, take a deep breath, and take inventory of where you are and where you'd like to go. There's a great quote by Henry David Thoreau. He said, "Only through leisure time can one contemplate the soul's estate."
Hmm.
When you're in the middle of your materialistic life, with all your distractions in this modern society, you don't have a chance of brushing up against a vision of your ideal self and your ideal future. You've got to take the time to step off the treadmill and do some deep soul searching. Get to know yourself, right?
Go within and uncover. It's like, it comes back to that term, uncover who you really are. Because what Jon just said, it's distractions. Everything is there to distract. Because what it's all about is focused clarity on what your vision is for your life, to actualize yourself. I mean, that's what we've learned in all of our years of doing Lifebook, is that it really is an uncovering, so you can hear yourself. You can listen to your own soul. So going within and listen. That's blocking out all the rest.
And that's the first half of it. The first half is going deep inside and discovering some things about you. And your roadblocks are distractions, addictions, the material world that we live in, fear, just not having the courage to do it, societal expectations, the things that people expect of you, the roles, the normal roles that people expect you to play in society. Those are all roadblocks to
your authentic self.
Taking some time to get to know your authentic self. But that's only half the battle, in my opinion, to self-actualization. Getting to know your authentic self. That's the self-discovery part. Then there's okay, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
Life am I going to create for myself? What kind of a person am I going to forge myself into? So I would say that just our culture is pretty much set up to distract you from getting to know your true self and really figuring out what you want to do to maximize your potential.
Because it's all external. Our everything, YouTube, the whole social media world is all about external. And we just need to quiet and go inside and out and open up.
The forces that be out there have no desire to see you living a self-actualized life directed consciously according to your own standards and values. What they want you to do is get on their medications. They want you to get on their social media platforms. They want you to get on. They want to impose a vision for you or a direction for you, and that's the problem. That's the problem. If you don't have a life vision, if you don't know where you want to take your own life, if you don't know what kind of a person you want to become and what kind of a life you want to live, you are going to be tossed around in a sea of other people trying to dictate to you what you should be doing, and it's for their benefit, not yours. That's the danger of not having a vision.
Yeah.
Proverbs says, "Without a vision, the people perish," and that's about as strong a terms as you can put it in. And I believe it's absolutely true.
I do too.
Yeah, it guides you. It's the North Star taking you to where you want to go.
And let me just extend that just a little bit, because that is the friggin' thing, Eric. If you have a clear vision for the person you want to become and the life you want to live, you have a decision-making framework that will allow you to choose the right action. If this decision gets me closer to that, I'm going to do it. If it gets me farther away from that, I'm not going to do it. In the absence of a clear life vision, you have no decision-making framework to decide whether to turn right or left.
Right.
Whether to turn right or left depends on where you want to end up being, right? So that's why it's so critical. And people don't understand how critical it is. They think it might be nice to have direction. It might be nice to have a vision for where I want to take my life. No, it is the non-negotiable foundation of an extraordinary life.
Ooh. Non-negotiable foundation. Absolutely. That's such a good point. And it's not only like making the decision, being able to make the decision that's lining up with the North Star, the life, the vision you have for yourself, was that interconnection. Cause like so many people have goals. They're like, oh, these are the things I want to do. I want to become a millionaire or whatever, or that I want to, get a job promotion, or I want to find a relationship, but it's not interconnected with their entire life. It's not interconnected with everything. And when you look at everything and you're like, wait, this is the total right decision. Yeah. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. And I've experienced some of that. Like, hey, maybe this takes a little bit longer, but I know that this decision was way better for me long-term, because I've outlined, like you said, I've outlined that vision.
Well, and that's the danger of not having a clear vision and setting goals. not having a clear vision of where you want to end up in totality.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're setting goals in a vacuum.
Totality.
So let me just give an example of what that might look like. You're going to set a goal to double your income. You're going to set a goal to get in the best shape of your life. And you're going to set a goal to either go out there and find the love of your life or take your current love relationships to the next level. And if you're not careful, all three of those goals will contradict each other. The amount of hours that you're going to have to spend doubling your income are going to take away from your health and fitness, going to give you stress, going to destroy your ability to spend the time and effort required to go out there and find the love of your life. That's what happens when you're not crystal clear on the totality of where you want to take your life. Mm-hmm. When you are, all those goals become aligned because they're all pointing at the same thing. They're all going in the same direction.
It's momentum.
Right.
It's that you said interconnectivity, and that's right.
Integration.
But it's integration.
That's right.
Because what we're going for here is a holistic, harmonious life.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you need to go through all important areas, which is what we do at Lifebook, and take inventory and say, okay, what are these things? What do I believe? What are my visions? Because all that needs to be congruent so that you have a holistic, harmonious life.
Yep.
Well said. I think another thing I've thought about, and I know you guys have mentioned as well, is like either way you do it, you're like, there's going to be hard work, either if you're going down a path, it's like, there's going to be work either way. It's like, if you're going down a path of just kind of hoping that your life turns out well, or you're consciously creating it, there's work either way. You're going to have to suffer from maybe some regrets that you have in the long term, or, you're going to be able to be self-actualizing yourself in the long term.
A nice, short, easy way to say that is pay now or pay later.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying one way or the other. Everything in life is a trade-off.
Yeah. Right.
And it can feel like work to open yourself up and get down in there and really discover yourself and figure out how to put a plan in place. It can feel like a sacrifice to say, no, I'm going to go in this direction. It may not be the easy path, but I care enough about myself that I'm going to go in this direction. But the deal is pay now or pay later. You don't do that. You're going to end up somewhere you don't even know. If you don't have a clear direction for your life, you'll end up somewhere, but who the hell knows where that will be? And you very well may have to pay later.
And more than likely, you went on someone else's ride.
Exactly
if you're not
right.
consciously driving your own life.
Yeah, absolutely. So some believe that you should primarily follow your passion for work, specifically your career. Do you believe it is possible that anyone could find a passion in their life and do that for their work?
Yeah.
No.
Anyone could.
This is what I think, Eric. I don't think, based on all of the work that we've done for Lifebook, I don't think that there's anything that you can apply to everyone.
Oh, I see.
In my life,
but it is possible.
I have discovered that there's nothing that applies to everyone. And well, it's not really. Yeah. This is in this particular case, trying to figure out whether you want to follow your passion for your career, or whether you want to do something else. There are two very, very clear schools of thought here, and which one is right for you depends completely on who you are. So one school of thought is I'm going to take my passion and I'm going to turn it into a career, because if I do that, I'll be working on something I love every day. There are challenges with that too, and here's the biggest challenge with that. You take the thing you care most about and you decide you're going to monetize that and turn that into a career. All of a sudden, other people's opinions are involved. All of a sudden, you have to care what other people think about your area of greatest passion. So if you're an artist, if you're creating paintings and you decide to do that for a hobby, no one's opinion matters but yours. You are 100% in control of that experience. But if you decide that you want to monetize that talent and share that with the world and turn that into the way you're going to run your career, all of a sudden, everyone's opinion about your art matters. Your gallery owners, your representative, the customers that are going to buy it or not buy it. That's the danger there.
Right.
The other school of thought, which I've seen hugely successful people in both of these areas, and I've seen failures in both of these areas. The other school of thought is, my passion is my sacred area that I'm not going to let anybody into. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and find a great career that I'm good at, that I enjoy, and I'm going to pay the bills with that career, and I'm going to keep my passion to myself. I'm going to fund my passion with my career. One of the most successful men that I've ever met does that. And he's the one that told me, he's the one that turned me on to this concept of these two separate paths. One of the he's probably got one of the highest introspect assessment scores in the Lifebook community. He's a complete badass. And he chose a career that he's good at, really good. He makes a ton of money, but it's not the reason he jumps up out of bed in the morning happy to be alive. He's got wonderful hobbies and passions that he is able to pursue because of his financial abundance, and he's kept them separately. So those are the two paths that are most common. And we've all just got to ask ourselves, which area do we fall into? Missy and I follow our passion. Yeah. We can't pursue goals that are not emotionally kindled. We can't do that. My brother's the opposite. My brother makes a ton of money. He's a great investor. He's got a good, solid career, and he keeps his passions private into himself.
Yeah. Well, we're driven by mission, and some people are driven by money. Whatever one comes first, that's kind of the way that you go there, I think. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think I like that question because I have a lot of friends who out there who are like, I really want to live my passion, but it's freaking hard getting started. And they're like, I want to be in alignment with who I am and where I want to go. But it's like, man, I've had a really difficult time starting a job or starting a company or a business. I know for me, I'm the same way as you guys. Like, I'm following my passion. That's it. This is where I'm going, period. And I love that. And I'm definitely mission driven. But I
just want to point out though, Eric, that living your passion doesn't necessarily mean monetizing it. Living your passion doesn't mean monetizing it. It can, we do, but it doesn't necessarily. So you could live your passion by having a good, solid career that you're good at, that you enjoy, that makes you a lot of money, and that allows you to live your passion over here.
100%. Yeah, I think I'm just the one that's like doing it with the work and monetizing it as well. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But yeah, absolutely. I know. I just know there are probably a lot of listeners to this episode, or just friends in general, are like, man, it's tough. And so it is a good point that you don't have to monetize your passion. So
there's a very, very good chapter in the book, The E-Myth, by who wrote that book?
Oh, I have that book. Yeah.
Okay, we'll read the chapter about the lady who baked pies. It illustrates this point perfectly. And it's about this lady who baked pies that were so good, people couldn't believe it. Her friends were like, are you kidding me? You should be having a pie business. There's no question. You're the best in the world. And she's like, well, I just do this for my hobby and I love doing it for people. And no, you really ought to. So she ends up starting a little pie business. And now all of a sudden she's paying her rent. She's managing employees. She's trying to figure out marketing. She's got a friggin' employee insurance. She's got to pay taxes. She's doing everything but baking pies. That's what happens sometimes if you're not careful. So that would be a cautionary tale about, if you want to try to monetize your passion, be very, very careful, because sometimes that can ruin a passion. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Other times it's the perfect career for you. So
I remember, I think there's one, I don't know if there's two of those examples, but I remember there's one about cupcakes, and it might be like the very beginning where it's, maybe it was pies or cupcakes. I don't remember, but I remember that specific idea that it was like, this is turning into a business. Yeah. Like you've got to know the business side. And that happens with a lot of coaches. I'm a full-time coach now, and there's a lot of coaches that just don't know the business side, and they're just like, hey, I'm going to help the world. But okay, how do you get clients? Yeah. What is your price? How do you monetize it? How do you market? How do you get your word out there? And it's like a lot of coaches struggle because they're not even aware of that side.
Well,
that's a good example.
Eric, there's two sides to it. Yeah.
You never hear anybody say this, but this is the truth. Business is hard. Business is hard. And no one says that, and everyone should be saying that. Business is a chain. You've got product development, you've got manufacturing, you've got inventory, you've got distribution, you've got marketing, and any link in that chain that's broken, the whole thing is broken. You can't afford one mistake.
That's why it's hard.
90% of businesses that are incorporated are out of business within 5 years. 75% of them, I think, after the first year. Business is hard, so be very careful if you're going to do it. There's nothing better when you get it right, but you really got to go in with open eyes.
And it takes time. It's not just right. Like there's no instant overnight. I mean, yeah, maybe, but mostly it takes
not
it
usually.
takes time. Yeah,
persistence is
hard work.
Persistence is absolutely one of the key attributes for a business owner.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be sacrifices of the present for the future. Absolutely. So I think that's kind of a good transition into, so just so you guys know as well, the Full Potential Living podcast has an array of listeners, but a good portion of is in the 20s and 30s area, 20 to 40, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's like what's considered young anymore, but what's like your best piece of advice for listeners, for individuals in their 20s and 30s who want to self-actualize?
I would say this game ain't for the weak of heart. It's not for the faint of heart. Self-actualize. Remember what it means to actualize.
The self.
A synonym for actual is real. To make real the best version of yourself. Cool. This is not for pussies. It involves striving, and this is something that 20s and 30s people don't have a lot of experience in today's culture. You have got to struggle through challenges to victory. It's about striving for personal growth. It's about striving for authenticity. It's about striving to embody your values. It's about striving to achieve your goals. We live in a society where a lot of shit comes to us for free. We live in a society where we're very entitled. We're the most comfortable. If it's not instant gratification, we got no attention span. This game is for people who want to. It's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong process. If you're truly after brushing up against your true potential in the most meaningful areas of life, you're going to be working consistently and persistently toward that.
It's called the hero's journey.
That's right.
That's really what this is. It's your life journey, and it's full devotion. Yep. Whatever the F it takes to make your dreams real, to self-actualize, whatever it is, whatever you will go over, any mountain, swim in the ocean, doesn't matter, because you're so fully committed and devoted to having an extraordinary life.
That's the key word. You need a lot of things. You need courage, you need wherewithal, you need devotion, but the key word is commitment. If you have the commitment, the absolute commitment to making yourself the best you can be and making your life the best you can live it, everything else is going to fall in place if you're fully committed to that. But it's going to take work, and it's going to take effort, and it's going to be fun. I'm not saying it's drudgery, but it's a friggin' thing.
Yeah, all these words, work, self-responsibility, these all have this
negative connotations.
But it's actually the opposite. It's like there's nothing more freeing than self-responsibility, because you are in control of your own destiny.
Right.
And people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to work. It's like, dudes, if you don't work, someone else is going to get in the driver's seat of your life and take you somewhere you don't want to go. So it's
to me, the alternative is just it's not worth it, because it's like this is my commitment, I have different experiences from other people, but going through baseball, everybody told me, hey, it's only 1%, it's only 5%. Make it to college. Oh, it's only 1%. Make it to professional. And I was like, okay, I'll overcome that. Okay, I'll overcome that. Okay, I'll overcome. And it's like a mindset, and you're totally right. It's a commitment. Like this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. There's a Will Smith quote that I listened to when I was like 16, 17. I watched like The Secret, which totally changed my life, and then I watched Will Smith talk about what does he say? What's the quote? It's like, just decide what it's going to be, how it's going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And that for me was like just a light bulb. And it was like, oh, I just have to decide, and I think that's like coming down to the commitment of like, this is the commitment. So it's that
those two words are
100%.
very similar there, because the word decision means to cut away. Incision is to cut in, decision is to cut off. So when you're deciding, you are cutting off other possibilities and committing to one. So those two words are, you can use them synonymous. That's what he meant by that. You go ahead and commit, and you stick with that, and you're going to wake up one day far down that path.
Yeah. Beautiful. So commitment, you guys would say, is like that, the biggest piece of advice for self-actualization to kind of bring it down.
I would say that commitment is the one, and I would say that the best tactic is the Lifebook program. You could go out there and read 1,000 books. You could figure all this out yourself. But what we've done with Lifebook over a 25-year period is put together a process and a structure. It's a structure. It's a container that will guide you through developing a crystal clear picture of your highest self in every important area and the life that you could be living. And then once you've got that North Star, you simply wake up every morning and put one foot in front of the other, using that North Star as a decision-making framework. Anything that gets you closer is a yes. Anything that gets you farther away is a no. And if you do that for long enough, you're going to wake up and be that person living that life. That's how the universe works. It can't go any other way.
Right. Just beautiful. Awesome. The commitment, and then Lifebook, the tool to self-actualize.
Commitment and clarity is what you need. You need a commitment around the clarity. Commitment and clarity. Yep.
Gotcha. What was your greatest challenge in life and for you guys, and how did it help you self-actualize into who you two are today? Challenge.
Well, that's easy. That's an easy one. How old are you, Eric?
We've had lots of.
I'm 30 years old.
When I was exactly your age, man. When I was
You're way ahead of me.
your age, 31 years ago.
I was just kidding.
I had what I characterize now as a nervous breakdown. It was an anxiety disorder. They kicked in called agoraphobia, which is basically a generalized anxiety disorder where I was shut down, completely housebound. There was a lot that had led up to it, but the biggest thing, other than I had a lot of childhood stuff to unwind, etc., is that the life that I was living at that point was outrageously stressful and unbalanced. Mainly focused on money and career, right? Just like we know this story. And what happened is, for a lot of years, I was like a Superman that could hold up unbelievable weight, but I ended up getting crushed under the weight of my own life, which is what ended up happening. And I found myself with a generalized anxiety disorder, debilitating panic attacks, and I wasn't able, for an entire summer, I wasn't able to do anything. I couldn't drive my car out of my driveway, couldn't go to a grocery store, couldn't get my haircut, couldn't go to a restaurant, definitely couldn't work. Right. So I was shut down.
That was when you were 30?
I was 30. I was
in my mid-20s.
Yeah. It manifested itself as an emotional problem. That's what it looked like. There was also a physiological component to it, definitely a spiritual component to it, but it was a complete meltdown. And so I was at rock bottom, and I did not have a clue where to go from there. I didn't have any idea. My dad was watching late night TV one evening, and he came across 2 personal development programs that he bought for me on late night TV. One was a program called Attacking Anxiety by a lady named Lucinda Bassett that was specifically about how to overcome anxiety. And the other one was Tony Robbins' Personal Power 2, which was the best-selling course at that time. And I listened to both of them. And
we've never heard anything like that before. No personal development at all.
That was our first encounter. Encounter. Attacking Anxiety was incredibly important to me because it educated me on what was happening to me and some of the strategies that I could use to mitigate the pain that I was in. And so I got a little bit of a foothold on my symptoms and my core issue with that program. But the Tony Robbins program, which is my first true encounter with any personal development, that was like, holy shit. The first time in my life that I'd ever heard that you could decide where you want to take your life in fundamental
There's that word.
Make a commitment to it, start moving in that direction, and improve yourself from the inside out. And I was like, whoa. So I did that program. I did all the exercises, and I was like, this makes me feel, I feel like I have a little bit of a foothold that I could build on now. So that summer, what I just started consuming personal development programs voraciously. Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, all the greats, the classic, Nightingale, Carnegie, all the greats, right? And so I started keeping my notes from these personal development programs in a little binder, which was the very first iteration of my Lifebook, right? And this binder, like, I don't know if you've ever had panic attacks or serious anxiety, but what happens is you basically lose control of your faculties. That's what happens. And it's horrifying. To lose control of yourself is horrifying. Your senses go haywire. But I had this little book with me. It wasn't called Lifebook back then. I might have well called it Lifeboat. It was my life raft, right? And when I started feeling like that, I could open it up and read some of these passages that I'd collected, and I would instantly feel inner strength and be able to get through the situation. So I was like, this is an amazing tool for me. That evolved into the Lifebook process over a period of about 10 years. And how that happened, there's just two quick things. The first thing is I started to categorize my notes, which led me to do some deep thinking about the most important areas of life that I had to figure out if I was going to live a good life and put myself back together again. My health and fitness, my love relationship, my career and financial life, my emotional life, which was jacked up at the time, my spiritual life, my character. I identified 12 categories of life that needed to be focused on in order for me to get better and then to move past where I was. And in each of those 4 areas, the methodology that I figured out to get a grip on that area was to ask and answer 4 questions. What are the beliefs about this area of my life, my health and fitness, my love relationship, my financial life? What are my beliefs that control my behavior in this area of my life? And are they good or are they not? Do they need to be replaced or are they solid? What do I believe about this area of my life?
Because that controls your behavior.
Number 2, and most importantly, by a mile, what precisely do I want in this area of my life?
Vision.
Why do I want that? Why is that important to me? What will I gain if I achieve it, and what will I lose if I don't? And then finally, what do I need to do to get it? If that's what I want my health and fitness to look like, if that's what I want my love relationship to look like, if that's the kind of financial abundance I want to experience, what do I need to do to make that happen? So that biggest challenge of our lives led us to the biggest gift that we've ever been given, which is the Lifebook methodology. And we never showed that to anyone for 15 years. That was our tool that we use. Because what happened, Eric, was I got well and functional again relatively quickly. Within a year, I was about functional again. It took me 8 years to fully recover and to optimal again.
Wow.
But after I solved the problem of getting out of pain, my question was, I've made so much progress. What if I just keep doing this? What if I just instead of trying to get out of pain, what if I do it? Go. And that led to an absolutely extraordinary life. We've never seen anything like the life that we have. And we just kept going and going. And at some point we realized that this was a tool that could help other people do exactly what we'd done. And we ended up deciding to share it with the world. So that's our greatest challenge led to our biggest gift.
100%.
You got anything else to add to that?
That was beautiful.
There's so much in there, but it makes me think about what made you decide on the PVPS? Like why was it premise? Why was it vision? Why was it purpose? Why was it strategy? I guess I
can
can't
easily
think of what
explain
else.
that very quickly. So the most important thing was vision. What I was after was, who do I want to become and how do I want to live on this planet? I need a vision for that. Yeah. And once I have a vision for that, I will move in that direction with intention every day. I won't wake up confused. I'll know exactly what I'm doing. Was the first step. Right? So I need a fucking vision for every important area of my life. And then this is an absolute Tony Robbins technique. This came day one by listening to the Tony Robbins program. If that's my vision, I need to understand my deep purpose behind that vision, because that's going to be the driving force.
Wow.
That's going to determine whether or not I get it. How
Yeah.
strong my reason is for wanting it.
Because that's your gas. That makes you move.
That's right.
That causes you
Right.
to act.
So if you want to lose 30 pounds so you can fit into a wedding dress for an episodic event, that's one purpose. That's a pretty weak purpose, but it is a purpose nonetheless. Whereas if you want to get in shape so that you can live longer and have a better quality of life and set a better example for your kids, and right, that's a purpose that can last you a lifetime. Right. So I realized right at the outset that not only did I need the vision, but I needed to back it up with a strong purpose, and of course I need a strategy to get there. That was all obvious to me. Vision, purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And what is my roadmap? What's my roadmap?
How do I get there?
Yeah.
Premise was added last. That took me about 5 or 6 years to figure out. And frankly, it was one of my best friends that told me, Jon, you really can't, you really can't start down the road to effectively accomplishing a vision unless you understand the beliefs that you hold in that area. For instance, your vision might be to become a millionaire at 35, but if you've got a belief that was installed in you as a child, that the love of money is the root of all evil, you're going to figure out a way to sabotage that vision because you don't want to be evil. If you want an extraordinary love relationship, but at the end of the day, you believe that all women eventually cheat and leave, you ain't going to make that happen. You've got to explore your beliefs that control your behavior and get rid of disempowering beliefs if necessary. That was added later.
Okay, gotcha. That is so cool to hear how it kind of all came out and unfolded there. So that is cool, and I think that might even touch on the next question. We kind of answered the next. So it's vision, you would say.
There's
do you
no
the
question. If you take a look at premise, vision, purpose, and strategy, Lifebook is about vision. Everything else supports that. So vision is what you're after. You are attempting to get a glimpse as to what your highest self might look like and what your ideal life might look like. That's what you're doing during the Lifebook process. Your purpose will determine how fast that happens. Your strategies will determine how fast that happens. Your premise will determine whether it happens at all or whether you're going to sabotage it. But clearly, Eric, the vision is the thing that we're after.
Because you got to know what it is you're even doing here.
Right.
So you gotta, where am I going to go? How am I going to?
Right. So Missy, that was. I don't know if you have a different answer, or maybe it's the same. Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. It was kind of like, what's the one area you would choose if you could only choose one of those? So it'd be vision as well.
Yeah, because it really does. Once you have that vision based on good beliefs, right? Once you have that vision, then like Jon was saying earlier, it's a decision-making framework. And what that means is, here's an example. Like in our love relationship, we have a love relationship vision that we've both created. And that's what we want to, that's what we're going for. So if we know what that is, then the little tiny things during the day that might be egoic, little pissy stuff that's petty, that doesn't matter, we will not even engage, because what we're doing is something way more important. So it literally does, it molds your daily present moment. It forms you how to act in the moment.
Right.
And that is like, that's amazing. That's everything, because it keeps you focused on where you're going.
And that's exactly right. Premise, vision, purpose, and strategy. But your vision is the thing that you're creating. Your vision is the operating concept. So your purpose supports the creation of the vision. Your strategy support the creation of the vision. Your premises, which are basically your life philosophy,
that's your foundation.
that exists to support your vision. It doesn't help you in a vacuum. Your philosophy doesn't help you in a vacuum. Your philosophy only helps you. Your philosophy is a tool to get through life. Your philosophy helps you in terms of what is it that you're trying to create. And what you're trying to create is your vision. So basically, Eric, instead of leaving it to chance, instead of leaving your decisions and your life direction to chance, you're caring enough and loving yourself enough to sit down and take a little bit of time off of your busy life and really try to get clear on what the ideal you could look like. And then once you're clear on that, you commit to applying all of your talents to achieving that. It's the only thing that matters. Everything else fits into it. You can't tell me a single thing that we should be focusing on that's outside of the
Right.
realm of the vision that we're trying to
Because you've
create.
already plotted all that.
Yeah.
Right. So after you've done that work, it's like, what else would I want to be doing? There's literally nothing else I could want to do then.
And that
work on
eliminates so
that.
much friction, bro.
And
I mean,
stress.
let me just tell you that in the context of a love relationship, Lifebook is the best tool you could ever possibly have, because what it does is it aligns you to, as people, when you create a vision that you're going to achieve together, you've worked out all the hard shit. You're not going to be fighting about money. You're not going to be fighting about the kids. You're not going to be fighting about, right?
You've paid up front.
That's right. It's front loaded.
Yep. Yeah.
Through and set up your systems. That's right.
So it's just an incredible thing. It's a game changer. A person with a clear vision will run circles around someone who is 10 times more talented than them, 10 times richer than them, that doesn't have a clear vision any day of the week. It's the most important thing in life as far as our life philosophy goes.
Yeah. I've been doing Joe Dispenza meditations rewired.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That guy's a badass for me. He's something else.
And I know you talked about Kriya what's it called? Kriya Yoga. I did that meditation for 3 months straight.
Me too, bro.
The one with Sadhguru.
Yeah.
And dude, oh my gosh. That is a cleansing.
Life.
Yeah. I had I don't know if you probably don't know, but I went to, after I played baseball, I went to India, went to Nepal, India, Africa, Europe. I traveled a lot and I studied yoga. I studied being an athlete, going like that world, that overly masculine world, to then like seeing this whole other side of myself of like Nepal, India, trekking through the Himalayas. So the reason I bring that up is because when I was in India, I studied yoga. I was there for almost like 2 months, and I got like a 200-hour certification. I really was just sort of fascinated by the philosophy. And it was like the first time I came across enlightenment, like, oh my gosh, higher purpose. Oh my gosh, this is what I'm here for. I get to be I can be an enlightened being. Like I can strive for something that's outside of the realm of like money, or which, those are necessary things, but just something higher, a mission, a purpose. And that's where I came across some amazing teachers who are now like really big, which I appreciate them so much. But I ran across Sadhguru as well. And then I started watching his videos, and you mentioned that in like the community. And I was like, oh, I'm going to start that. I tried it before, but this time I was like, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself for like 3 months. I missed some days, but over 3 months, I did it at least 5 times a week, 5 or 6 times a week. So, and that was
changed my
crazy.
life, man. Changed my life. You know what it does, Eric? Right? What it does is it gives you separation from your mind, and it gives you separation. It gives you a little bit of space, right? And when you can do that and start to observe your thought processes and understand that that's not reality and that's not me. Those are thoughts.
Right.
Boy, can you get in charge of your thoughts. Right.
Yes. My friend told me when I was in Nepal, my good friend told me I went to Kopan Monastery in Kathmandu, which is like the Dalai Lama's been there. I went to a meditation course. And what I learned there was the biggest aha moment is kind of like what you're talking about. My friend told me for the first time, she asked me, she said, her name is Pascal. She asked me, she's like, who is I? She's like, Eric, who is I? And that question blew my mind. I was like, oh, she's like, is it your head? Is it your heart? Is it, your body? Is it, and that opened me up. It was like, oh, another kind of light bulb moment opened me up. And I was like, whoa, who am I really? And it really made me realize that, and then I did a lot of meditation and study and stuff. Exactly what you said. It backed me away from the personality of Eric. And it backed me away from the identity that I created in America and athletics and the world. And it went, oh, I can observe all this. I can watch the train go by. I can watch and I think that's another topic of people getting meditation kind of wrong. But anyway, it helped me back away and be like, who the heck am I?
Yeah. What are you?
And then you can really then you can really do some good work.
Yeah.
Once you get a little distance from yourself and get a little objectivity, then you can really do some good work. So yeah, that's good stuff.
Dude.
Joe Dispenza is the next level too. That guy is something else.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Your body to heal itself. I mean, he's
a wizard.
He's a freaking wizard. He just his eyes too. He's like he's got
he's an awesome human.
Yeah, I've been doing his meditations for the last, I'm going to start that and just stepping into the future, kind of getting back to what I was going to say, stepping into the future, like the vision of myself in the future is pulling me forward. So
beautiful. And that's what a vision does right there.
There you go. Well, I ask this question. We're like right on time. It's like perfect. So it's good time for you guys too. So the question I ask everybody that comes on the podcast is kind of thinking, in the future, however long you guys live, 120, 150, I don't know. But you fast forward to the moment, to the end of your life, and you're lying, you're about to die, you're about to pass away. Maybe you're on a deathbed, maybe you're on a beach. I don't know. Maybe you're in the Garden of Eden, but, you reflect on your life and you look back and you go, okay, if there was 2 to 3 things that, you lived by, whether they're values, philosophies, goals you accomplished, whatever they were, that allowed you to, at that moment of death, like pass away with peace and be like, it's okay. I did it. It's okay. What would those 2 to 3 things be for you guys? That would be, and
That's
if you want
to, well, first of all, we've decided that we're actually we're gonna be delivered. We're gonna be delivered whole in a fiery chariot like Elisha. We're building a ramp right now.
Yeah.
And so
it's called the Rainbow Bridge.
you want to just take a spaceship and get out of here and forget death.
That's probably more likely for us, but we're going to answer the question anyway. Okay. But no, you know what it is for us, Eric? It comes down to the operating word of this podcast. It's self-actualization, isn't it? That's what it is. It's did I brush up against my true potential? Did I wake up every day and bring the most to this life and squeeze the most out of this life? Did I live every moment in the best possible way that I could?
That's beautiful.
Right?
And so many things are in that, like gratitude, sticking to your authentic self, trusting your own intuition, being you as opposed to other people. I mean, that what he just said, it's the whole gamut.
And and we're already there. I mean, we are already there. We have, like, if we passed away tomorrow,
you could die now.
Yes, no, we seriously, dude. We have brought everything to this life that we could.
That's amazing.
Everything out of this life. But I do want to.
So rare.
I would love to end this episode with us with a thought that's going to be unique when people answer this, and that is the self-actualization that's available to a couple that's not really available to a single that we've. This is really interesting. So when you are a completely committed couple like Missy and I are, like we went
it's
all
love
in.
month.
We've known each other since Miss was 17 and I was in my early 20s, and we went all in from the very beginning. This is it for us. We are 100% devoted, committed, this life and all other lifetimes. That's who we are. Having done that, what happened to us, Eric, is that you know how every person has masculine and feminine inside of them, right?
Yes.
Masculine
energy
and feminine happen on a continuum.
Yes.
That's what happens on the continuum. Male and female are binary. Masculine and feminine are the continuum.
Right.
Both of those both of those concepts stem from the principle of gender. And when you are trying to self-actualize yourself as an individual, what you need in order to do that. Now, everyone's got a different path. Everyone's got different focuses, but most people are going to want some sort of a healthy balance between masculine and feminine. And what that might look like for you is, from a masculine perspective, you're self-assertive. You've got a friggin' great structure in place for yourself. You've created a great container from which to operate. You're a driver. You know what you want. You're going in that direction. Those are masculine energies. The feminine side of that is you're compassionate. You know how to talk to people. You know how to relate to people. People feel comfortable around you.
Yeah, you're loving, you're nurturing, you're helpful, you're peace.
All the feminine energies. And when you're a single, you're trying to because you can't have a great life as a single just pounding on only the masculine. There'll be big gaps. Or just pounding on only the feminine.
Balance and everything.
The masculine goes off the rails without the feminine, and the feminine goes off the rails without the masculine. But when you're a devoted couple like us, we've been together for 33 years. We're madly in love, incredibly passionate about each other, all in this relationship. We've poured everything we have into it. Now our poles, the polarity, pushes so much farther out than any one person could do. I handle most of the masculine stuff like a fucking boss. My job is to drive it. My job is right. Missy handles the feminine stuff like a boss.
Over everything.
She's filling up that masculine structure with her beautiful feminine self-expression. So we can push those poles. We can exaggerate them. I get all the benefit of the most beautiful feminine energy that I could never have a hope of recreating in my own life. But I get 100% of that benefit.
And vice versa.
And Missy gets 100% of the benefit of my masculine expertise in her life.
That's right.
So we've been able to turbocharge the self-actualization process. Missy has turned me into the man that I am. And I've turned Missy into the woman she is. And we do that through holding up a mirror to each other. I would not be able to brush up against my potential weren't it for her showing me what that is. And same with her. So when you find your twin flame, which we got to get on that, brother. Hey, any eligible, beautiful young women? This guy's
dude. That was my question. Next was like, hey, can you help me with that?
Yeah, we're gonna get on that. We're gonna make that a 2023 goal. But seriously, when you have somebody that you're all in with, you got to be all in. Can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. This might not work. I'm gonna hold back. But can't do that.
I'm not that way either. Yeah.
But if you're all in, what you can do is play your role and she can play her role. And between the two of you, you can make things happen that you wouldn't have a chance of making happen on your own.
And that's why they call two people coming together, really, when they really do come together at a soul level, that's a sacred union.
A soulmate, literally.
Yeah. It's just like what you're doing with your own self. You have that alchemy inside. You get yourself balanced with your masculine and feminine. You do that with another person. It's a whole nother exponential level of, and then your family comes in next, and then your community, and it's just exponential.
I feel like, Eric, this is a big part of our work for the next 18 months. Yeah. Missy and I are going to bring that Category 13 program eventually. We're going to talk about what we've discovered as a couple seeking self-actualization, both individually and as a unit. And the immense magic that two people can create together. It's a different level of living on the planet.
Yeah, I can kind of I've seen some of those videos, the Category 13 videos, and I can just see it. You guys were talking about it years ago in one of your videos, but I could just almost like feel that energy or see it in your eyes. You're like, no, there's like a different level of living, and I can. There's something about me that clicked. I think, there's a lot of people, and you guys, I don't remember if you've, like what your childhood was like as well, but, I think all of us have, especially this day and age with this generation, there's so much divorce with our parents. And it's like, we look at, how they were, and it's like, man, that was like brutal. And that, like,
you got to go back a little farther, bro. The family started getting attacked a long time ago. You got to go back a few generations before that. This is a very old-fashioned concept.
This is what my parents raised.
This got the human race to the history of humanity. Unfortunately, has been couched in this patriarchy nonsense. I'm a student of history. That's my subject. I put in my 10,000 hours. And I will tell you this, for anyone who knows their history, they will agree with this. The history of the human race is the history of families. That's what it is.
Men and women working together.
It's the Habsburgs.
Yeah.
Every dynasty of it.
It's the structure of it.
That's exactly right. And that's been lost, and you've got to get back into history to see what it looked like.
Okay.
But you're looking at it right here. This is what it looks like in the modern world, right? We want to share that because we can't lose that as a human race. And so we got to find your soulmate, bro. We're making that
All right. I'm having multiple. Jon and Missy are now helping me out with that.
Awesome.
I think, that's a older topic. I don't need to talk about myself, but I guess so. Obviously, a lot of people have ever before me have suffered this as well. It's not just me. But I think what the point I was getting at was that, like, the type of relationship that a lot of us may have grown up in was totally different from what I've seen from you guys. It's just like, if there was, I don't know how the universe does this, but I just resonate with you guys on so many freaking levels. Like, I don't know why. So you've your relationship is like that's what I want. I mean,
that's the incredible importance.
That's exactly
of vision,
what I want.
And that's why it's so important for you to have examples for you to help with your vision. I never had my parents had a disastrous relationship. It was it was a shit show. I never until I saw Missy's parents, I didn't have a vision for what it could be like. Right. That's another aspect of why self-actualization is so important. Yeah. Because it can give others hope. That's right. It can give others a vision of what it can be like for them. That's one of the other reasons we have to do this.
Actually, I think that's the most important reason, is to shine your light out so you can freaking show other people, hey, this is how you do it. This is a way you can do it. Yeah.
Wow. Right? Yeah. That is such a good way to end it. And I think for me, when I answered that question I asked you guys, was exactly that, was that am I going after what I am inspired by? Am I going after it? Am I doing what I'm inspired by? And am I making the world a better place? Am I making the world a better place with what I'm doing for the people here now, who comes after me, and then the generations after? My grandfather fought in World War II. He was a pilot of B-17. Wow. I'm here today because of what he did. Right. He was on 55 missions. I was just reading his book. That's why it's coming to mind. Unreal. Like, the only reason I'm here as Eric Ferguson is because of what he had to go through. So for me, it's like, ooh, I have this great life because of him. Okay, how do I make that even better for the next generation?
Your job is to honor him by being the best person you can be and passing that on. Exactly. I feel the same way, bro. Well, this has been great spending this time with you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This was beautiful. Really appreciate you guys. And thanks for coming on the Full Potential Living podcast. And I look forward to connecting with you guys more soon.
We'll see you in Estonia.
Much love. Yes.
Take care, brother. Take care, man. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.